Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Kal Halayim La Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Barakah HaKodash, which means all praises to Yahweh is the name of the Heavenly Father. Bahasham means in the name. Yahweh Shai is the name of his only begotten Son, who the world ignorantly called Jesus Christ. Barakah HaKodash means in the Holy Spirit, the Spirit of truth, on the way we worship the Father and the Son. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace, blessings, and salutations to all you brothers who are preaching the gospel in truth and in sincerity, always in charity. It's Brother Mathate from the Great Millstone Camp, the branch on Des Moines. And you can see on your screen is this little video, so we just gonna play it and hop right into it.
I think this happens at the end of every civilization's reign. And I think this happened with the Greeks and it happened with the Romans. And it's one of the things that Douglas Murray, when I had him on my podcast, was discussing. He said one of the things that happens at the end of civilizations is they become obsessed with gender. It's a thing that happens where men start becoming women, and women start becoming men, and it becomes like a big focus, like cross-dressing and all this stuff becomes a big point of focus. And I was like, well, why is that? He goes, it seems to be that they're dissolving all boundaries and all norms and all societal structure, and that's a part of it. It's like gender roles.
Right, so now Joe Rogan asks, why is that? Now, ultimately, it's the will of Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai. Matter of fact, let's start with this. Let's start with Second Esdras. Because he mentioned the collapse of all those different societies, man. Right? And at the end, right? At the end of their rulership, what was going on? Cross-dressing and homosexuality at its height during the fall of all these different rulerships. Now, this is the book of Second Esdras 14. And 16, it says, for yet greater evils than those which thou hast seen happen shall be done hereafter. For look how much the world shall be weaker through age, so much the more shall evils increase upon them that dwell therein. So at the end of all these different civilizations, right, they will become more outwardly corrupt. And that would justify Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai and bringing in the destruction of that rulership, of that kingdom. And it's going to be the same thing with America. You see, it's the pattern that's being followed, man. The Lord said he would liken his judgment unto a ring. Also in the book of Ecclesiastes, this is the book of Ecclesiastes 1 and 9. It says, the thing that hath been, it is that which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done, and there is no new thing under the sun. So when we speak about all these ancient civilizations, and they fall at the end, right, before they fell, it was a rise in cross-dressing and homosexuality. Well, that's all according to the Lord's algorithm, right? Because in Genesis, this is the book of Genesis 15 and 13. Now, this is a prophecy that was given unto our forefather Abraham concerning our slavery in the land of Egypt, right? Now, this is the book of Genesis 15 and 13. And he said unto Abram, know of a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years. Speaking about ancient Egypt and our deliverance from there, right? Verse 14. And also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge, and afterward shall they come out with great substance. And thou shalt go to thy fathers in peace. Thou shalt be buried in a good old age. This is the point. Verse 16, but in the fourth generation they shall come hither again, for the iniquity of the Amorites is not yet full. You see? So each kingdom or each rulership, right? Each nation has a level of iniquity, for lack of a better word, that it reaches, man. And then the Lord brings forth that judgment. And it's the same thing with this society. Look how outwardly corrupt this place has become, man. Going into that Second Esdras 14 that we started with, the evils are going to increase upon the earth, seeing that the earth is weaker than what it was back then, man. You see? And what were the different things that the Amorites were doing? This is the book of Leviticus 18 and 3. After the doings of the land of Egypt wherein ye dwelt, shall ye not do. And after the doings of the land of Canaan, right, which the Amorites are for lack of a better word, a tribe of Canaan, right? It says, and after the doings of the land of Canaan, whither I bring you, shall ye not do, neither shall ye walk in their ordinances. Now, when you go to read pretty much all these laws, it goes into us not doing the same things that these heathen were doing. And what's one of the ones that they were doing, right? I believe it is still in the 18th chapter, but it's Deuteronomy 22:5. The woman shall not wear that which pertaineth unto a man, neither shall a man put on a woman's garment. For all that do so are abomination unto Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua thy power. And in these heathen, right, in the land of Egypt, also in the land of Canaan, they were doing those things, man. And not just those particular heathen, but the Assyrians, the Greeks, the Romans, the Babylonians, right? Even the Persians to a certain extent, man. They all had customs and rituals and rites that they would perform, right? That their idols, that their so-called gods were instructed them to do, man. And it was all immoral, right? It was let's see. This is the book of Leviticus 18:22. Thou shalt not lie with mankind as with womankind. It is abomination. You see? And that's what these different rituals, right? These different services of these other gods, that's what they entails, man. It's man on man, woman on woman, man on beast, woman on beast, doing all types of immoral acts, man. Sacrificing your children. These are all things that these heathen were doing, right? But the point being is that at the end of these civilizations, this type of wickedness was running rampant during the time of their fall. You see, we can also read that about let's see, how am I word this? Let me see. This is the book of is it Genesis 18? Let's see. Salaki, bear with me. Yep, this is Genesis 18:20. It says, and Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua said, because the cry of Sodom and Gomorrah is great, and because their sin is very grievous, I will go down now and see whether they have done altogether according to the cry of it, which is come unto me, and if not, I will know. You see? So the wickedness that was going on in that place, its iniquities came up to the heavens, man. You see, and the Lord rained down fire upon Sodom, Gomorrah, and those neighboring cities, right? So he was justified in the judgment that was put upon these different nations, that was put upon Egypt, that was put upon the Canaanites, that was put upon the Assyrians, right? Because we're reading about in the scriptures the different accounts, but let's go to this. Now, I just typed in, go back to the top. I just typed in ancient Nineveh cross-dressing, and different, articles popped up, but this one stuck out. Now it's the guy named Sardanapalus, right? It says Sardanapalus, the last king of the Assyrian Empire, lived as a woman. He spent his days with his concubines in women's activities, making women's clothes in purple and soft wool. He dressed as a woman and used makeup and unguents like a courtesan. So his body was more delicate than the most pampered woman's. He made his voice like a woman's and held great feasts where he had sex with men and women. This conduct caused the destruction of the Assyrian Empire. Sardanapalus' vassal Arbaces, general of the Medes, bribed his way into the king's presence, and when he had seen how effeminate the king was, he was despised and conspired to revolt with the Persians. But it's more to the story. You can continue to read in different articles that's going into the abominations that were being done amongst the Assyrians, which is why in the book of Nahum, the 3rd chapter, is the book of Nahum 3. And 1, it says, woe to the bloody city, right? Speaking about Nineveh during that time, the capital of Assyria, which we can apply to America today, because America is doing those same atrocities and abominations that the Assyrians were doing back then. Hence that Ecclesiastes 1:9 that we read, right? It says, woe to the bloody city, it is full of lies and robbery, the prey departeth not. The noise of a whip and the noise of the rattling of the wheels and of the prancing horses and of the jumping chariots. There's armies coming in, man. See, this is going into the destruction of Nineveh. And it's going to be the same thing for America, right? It's going to be martial law. It's going to be troops out here on the streets, man. You see, bringing in punishment upon those who seek not Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai. Because during also what was being done during the Assyrian Empire is that the women, right? The women were pretty much harlots, man. In order for you to be a citizen, a woman within that empire, you had to go through certain rituals and rites. So you had to go through the temple of the goddess or god or whatever the hell the idol was during that time, and women had to perform certain sexual rites, man, in order to have some type of status within that society. Well, it's the same thing as here in America. You see, women who sexually exploit themselves are put on a pedestal. Megan Thee Stallion, Cardi B, the City Girls, or whatever the hell their names is, man. Right? The what's the hell that bald head bitch name? The Steve Harvey daughters, man. Right? The Amber Rose, that's her name. The Amber Roses, man. See, these bitches are put on a pedestal. The Brittany Renner, right? See, judgment is going to come upon this place for all the wickedness that's being spread throughout it. And history shows forth that this place is going to have a horrible end. Matter of fact, let me see. This is Job 22:15. Hast thou marked the old way which wicked men have trodden? All these ancient civilizations, man, all came to an end because of the wickedness that was being spread within those societies. And here it is, America's repeating those same things, man. Verse 16, which were cut down out of time, whose foundation was overflown with a flood, which said unto the Most High, depart from us, and what can the Almighty do for them? You see? So judgment is going to come there because it's the same mentality that people have today. Going back to Genesis, the 6th chapter. It says that the hearts of men, the minds of men was evil continually. And Yahweh Shah said, as it was in the days of Noah, so shall it be in the days of the coming of the Son of Man. So they're doing these same things that's going to what? That's going to justify the judgment that's being brought upon this place. Let's see. Was I done in that? Yep. Now let's hit the one about ancient Greek and Romans were cross-dressers, right? And when you go into it, you see it says homosexuality in ancient Rome. Now, this was a good read because it breaks down the different names that they had for them, right? You had different roles and different status within society of all this madness, man. You see? And they had different terms and different names for all of them, right? But it says homosexuality in ancient Rome often differs markedly from the contemporary West. Latin lacks words that would precisely translate homosexual and heterosexual. The primary dichotomy of ancient Roman sexuality was active, dominant, masculine, right? And passive, submissive, feminine. So you got this same mentality that niggas have in the jail system. That the one that's given is not considered gay, but the one that's receiving is. Well, it's the same mentality that the Romans had in the ancient world. It says Roman society was patriarchal and the freeborn male citizen possessed political liberty and the right to rule both himself and his household. Virtue was seen as an active quality through which a man defined himself. The conquest mentality, you see, the conquest mentality and cult of virality shaped same-sex relations. Roman men were free to enjoy sex with other males without a perceived loss of masculinity or social status as long as they took the dominant or penetrative role. You see How sick and perverse this society is, man. And America repeats that same thing, being the rebirth of this wicked, wretched society, man. You see? And that's why in the book of Revelation, it's the book of Revelation, chapter 18, in verse 4, it says, and I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people, right? The Israelites, that ye be not partakers of her sins and that ye receive not of her plagues. And that's what? That's the deliverance from this place, man. According to Revelation, the 11th chapter, says what? It says that they were taken up into a cloud and their enemies beheld them. You see? So this going into the salvation from what? From the destruction of this place. Verse 5. For her sins have reached unto heaven, and the Most High hath remembered her iniquities. So we see a rising in these abominations because we're at the end of this society. We're at the end of this rulership. Same thing could be said for all those ancient rulerships. You see? Now let's see what this says. It's a good one. Revelation 16:19. And the great city, being America, was divided into 3 parts, and the cities of the nations fell, and great Babylon came in remembrance before the Most High to give unto her the cup of the wine of the fierceness of his wrath, man. Great judgment is going to come upon this place for all the wickedness and atrocities that is spreading throughout the earth. You know, so I don't want to make this long and drawn out, just showing you different examples of society that collapsed, that fell, right? The Egyptians, the Canaanites, the Hittites, even before the flood, man. You know, during the time of Nimrod, which history calls them the Sumerians, ancient Sumer. You see, these heathens, that's why the scriptures tell us not to learn the way of the heathen, because these heathen have gods who are androgynous. They have idols who are both genders, right? And that spreads spreads within society, man. And that matter of fact, the scripture is going to explain it better. This is the book of Wisdom of Solomon, 14 and 12. It says, for the devising of idols was the beginning of spiritual fornication, and the invention of them, the corruption of life. Because what comes with these idols? It's these different rituals, right? And revelings that they use. Verse 23. For whilst they slew their children in sacrifices, or used secret ceremonies, or made revelings of strange rites, they kept neither lives nor marriages any longer undefiled. But either one slew another traitorously or grieved him by adultery. You see? So it was murder, treachery going on, man. Adultery going on through what? Through idolatry. So that there reigned in all men without exception blood, manslaughter, theft, and dissimulation, corruption, unfaithfulness, tumults, perjury, disquieting of good men, forgetfulness of good terms, defiling of souls, changing of kind. You see that? Men wanted to be women, women wanted to be men. Disorder in marriages, the woman being over the man, adultery and shameless uncleanness. For the worshiping of idols not to be named is the beginning, the cause, and the end of all evil. You see? And that's why the scriptures tell us that the throne is established through righteousness, man. See, that's how our rulership is going to be a everlasting rulership. Let's see. No, it's in the book of Proverbs. Whoa, what's going on? This is the book of Proverbs 16 and 12. It says, it is an abomination to kings to commit wickedness, for the throne is established by righteousness. So rulership is established by righteousness. And that's how our kingdom would be an everlasting kingdom, because it would be all righteous, man. You know, so Lord's will, I hope this was edifying. Thawada Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, for giving me spirit to do this lesson. I'm going to give all praises, honor, glory to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Barakah HaKodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace, blessings, and salutations to all you brothers who are preaching the gospel in truth and sincerity, always in charity. And even though seeing these things, man, is a vexation to our spirit, right? But it's needful. It's how we know that this is the end of this society, man. And our salvation is nearer than what we believe. So, hey, the Wadi Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai for giving us the eye salve and the understanding to know these things and have the comfort and patience to wait for these things. So once again, Lord's will, I hope this was edifying. Shalom.